Hello guys, this is Kathy with Kincaid Special Creations with our first part of our Thanksgiving crafts that we worked on and we showcased on our Facebook Live. First one is our fall acorn sign. I purchased this acorn wood part at Dollar Tree store. Timmy had purchased me these also at the Dollar Tree store. They come with a little skull on them. All you got to do is pop the skull off, and I have an acorn to go in. That is a part of a scrapbooking page that I cut out to go along the bottom, and metal tin words to go on. Welcome, harvest, and thankful, I think. I'm trying to figure out which one of these would go better on there. I didn't like the thankful so much, so I tried the welcome. Really wasn't, it was a little bit bigger, so I thought, well, the harvest is going to have to go on. So then I thought, well, no, maybe the welcome will fit. So then I go through and I'm going to paint it with that earth brown from Anita's. That's the top part. You just make your little spot on it, kind of ovaled up so that it doesn't look completely straight across, like a real acorn would look, and then just paint it all the way through. I painted stem and all because I'm going to put that bow on it over the end of it. So just go over the whole thing. I do the front, sides, and the back so that it's a finished project. I had to cut the string off of it because it was just in my way of trying to do a good job painting. So here I am painting the sides, just trying to get a good finished edge on it like I do with most of my projects. And it does make a difference. It makes it look good. Now some of them I don't finish, and the reason that I don't is because I may want to use the back side of it for a different project. But it's hard to use an acorn for anything other than an acorn. So if I find something different, it's just paint. I can paint over it. And then I'm going to paint the bottom half with pumpkin orange. And then I've headed off to get something. Oh, I went to get the acorn to show you what colors why I'm using the color orange to paint that. Is because that's what that little acorn looks like. Always try to find something there. Google it, get you a picture out of a book, whatever, and see a representation of what it looks like. Now that doesn't mean I could have painted this pumpkin blue this acorn blue if I wanted to. Not a big deal. But I chose to paint it in the color pumpkin. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Just finished painting up. Gonna turn it over and paint the other side. Somehow on the other side I got a little piece of that brown. But it's alright because it paints over good. That pumpkin. It may have to take 2 coats, but that pumpkin does cover it up. So you won't, no matter which side you're using, you won't see that little black or brown dot after it's all done. That's a pretty color. I like pumpkin, and I like the earth brown with it. I think that, yes, that's the color I do my truck in. No wonder I like it so well. But you can see it's going to dull out that brown spot. Well, I guess I must have had brown paint on my fingers, and as I was holding on to that, it got put on the other side of that. So there we go. We're getting it all the sides, everything's all done and ready to go. Next step is going to be I'm going to take Khaki by Apple Barrel, and I'm going to make some little, it's supposed to be the little scaly parts on the top of that. It's not 100%, but it does give it a little bit of a dimension. I should have made them a lot taller than what I did. That would have maybe made it look more realistic, but you live and you learn. You do what you do, and then when it didn't work the way you wanted to, next time you do it different. That's my philosophy in life. Don't stress about what you've already done, because you can't take that back, can't do anything different then. Well, I could have painted it, but, I just did that because I knew I was going to put the words over it, so you're really not going to pay that much attention to it. Now I'm going to Mod Podge the whole front side of this, and then I'm going to put this saying down. It says it in all things give thanks. I have to wait to see when it gets out of my way so I can see what it says, because I forgot. In all things give thanks with a grateful heart, maybe. Anyway, we'll see in just a second once I get all this Mod Podge on there. I should have had it over here where I could have looked at it. Now I'm going to take the extra Mod Podge that's on that thing, and I'm going to take it back off so it's a nice smooth area, put it on the back of the paper itself so that the paper and the Mod Podge will stick. It's kind of like contact cement when you're putting it together. Yes, that's what it says. I did remember it. Now I got to straighten it up so it looks nice and even. And then you take it and you just smooth it down with your fingers. Cardstock is a lot easier, or the thick scrapbooky paper, to Mod Podge with, because it doesn't crinkle up as well as napkins, but napkins make beautiful projects. Then I just cut off the extra on the outside edge. And now I didn't like it quite so much, so I'm measuring out to see if that piece of twine I have will go all the way around it, and it does. I don't think I glue it down just yet, but I will glue it down before I finish the project. Anytime you could have edged it with ribbon, you could have wrote around it with a black Sharpie marker. That would have edged it good. So just whatever you feel like works for you. And I decided I was going to go with the harvest sign. Even though the T's a little bit bigger, I just thought that went on there pretty good. So I didn't really like the galvanized paint color against that sign, because it just didn't seem like it showed out very well. So I've decided I'm going to take Crimson by Waverly, and I'm going to paint the word harvest. And you can, it does take a couple of coats, but you just paint over the sign, let it dry completely, because if you try to paint back over it while the paint is wet, it will pull the bottom paint back off. And it is a devil to get it to take paint after that. So just let it completely dry real good. I don't think it would be a good idea to take a heat gun, because that metal will get super hot. So just let it dry on its own really good. Now I'm going to take hot glue. There's my truck. That comes in another video. Thanksgiving DIYs Part 2. So please watch that one. And just glue it down on there. Then I take my, making sure it looks good. Then I take my bow and put on it. It's just that, like I said, it's just one of those little bows that we get at Halloween. And sometimes they have bats, sometimes they have skeletons, sometimes they have other stuff. But you can pop that right off, and all I'm going to do is add the acorn to the middle of it, and my sign is complete. You can put a hanger on the back of it and hang it on the wall. You could probably just put it up and take a nail and put it through the hole if you wanted. Second DIY is my leaf bowl. This was a trial and error job. I'm going to take that little bowl that I have out of my cabinet, and I thought I would use those big leaves. That was a fail. It did not work. So my plastic wrap is being as contrary as everything else I own. But I finally do get the whole bottom part of that bowl covered in plastic wrap. That's basically to keep the Mod Podge from sticking to the bowl. It'll stick to the plastic. In retrospect, I'm thinking I should have used either wax paper or parchment paper, because it did also stick to the inside of the bowl. But you usually fill it up with stuff, so that doesn't bother me any. But if you want to do it and you want it to be the leaves on the inside, probably a good idea to use plastic wrap. I mean, not plastic wrap, wax paper or parchment paper, so it'll peel back off of it. Then I'm just figuring out what design I want on it, laying it down in that Mod Podge. And then I'll put Mod Podge on the top and put another layer on all the way around that bowl. You just keep figuring out what design you want. And then once you've got your design, and once you've got it full, you let that Mod Podge set up and dry. Mine took a good 24 hours to completely set up to where you didn't have it. And then then you can work with it to continue on your project, because you will have to add more leaves in and touch up some stuff afterwards. But just get the basics, the bottom layer of your leaves on all the way around, and just keep holding on to it until it gets tacky enough to stay in place. And then you just basically just fiddle with whatever design. I just had this package of leaves, came from the Dollar Tree store. You can also get them at Dollar General. They're just individual little, I think they're maple leaves, but just individual little leaves that you just stick on any project. You can use them on pumpkins, for the little leaves for pumpkins. You could put them on I use them to make a beard for a gnome. So you can use them for a lot of different projects, and just keep on going. Now this is dried overnight, so I noticed that some of the edges have, they're sticking up. So I just take a hot glue gun and, oh no, that's the end where I'm finishing it up. It hasn't dried yet, but I've got the whole, you can see all the way around the pumpkin. They have the design and everything. And now that's when I left it set. And this is where it's dried the next day. And I noticed that there's some of them sticking up. So I have, get a little bit of hot glue out and stick some more leaves on the top where there's some holes. There's some of the white bowls showing. So then you just, hot glue is actually easier than using the Mod Podge. So in my thinking, if you could figure out something to put on it that, like the wax paper that, or parchment paper that hot glue won't stick to, I'd hot glue them down to start with. And then once you got everything in place the way you wanted, then you can put a layer of Mod Podge on the outside and the inside to protect it all. Now that's just my, after I've done it, thinking that if I do it again, that's how I would do it. But I knew that hot glue would just melt that plastic wrap, so I just thought, well, I'll use the Mod Podge. Old school thinking that would have been the best thing. But I think in thinking back, it would have been better to have the wax paper or parchment paper and hot glue to make this. And you have to keep adding layers and layers and layers on, so that you then have the, it's not going to be like, you couldn't put apples and oranges and stuff in it, but you could put like I have in mine, some pine cones. No, I have some gourds and stuff laying up in mine. So it does hold them good. It holds its shape good. So you just have to, whatever you want to put in it. DIY number 3 is our leaf garland. This is super simple. These leaves come from Michael's. They just have a package of, I don't even know how many was in there, maybe 50 leaves. Hannah had used the glitter ones and made a banner to take over to my mother-in-law. She's in a nursing home, and made her a beautiful little wall display. Thank you very much, Miss Hanny. So I thought, well, I'm going to take the leaves that are left over, the non-glittery ones, and I'm going to make me a happy Thanksgiving banner. So that's what I did. I just took them and just, I have some black letters that I got from Dollar Tree store. This is the package that you got originally. It's a half size, so you got letters on both sides. They went to a one-sided one, I guess, so everybody would know they was all together. So I'm just going to take these letters off of this older version so I can finish using it up. You can also keep the package after you're done and make some stencils out of them. Just cut around them and make you a good stencil. And that way you wouldn't have to worry about it. So here I'm showing you the great big large paper. I'm sorry, I've got a cough and a half this morning. So now I'm going to take the letters off. And be careful, because they do tear if they're just stickers. so they will tear. Just try to get them on there as even and lay down flat, because the stickers will peel up. So that's why I'm putting a layer of Mod Podge on the top of them. And then I'm taking my Crop-A-Dile. It's got a little hole in it so you can see where you're poking your hole. And of course this is foam. Here I'm telling you that it is a We Are Memory Keepers hole punch. It has a 3/16 on one side and a 1/8 on the other side. And it's got one of those little snap things at the top of it. It is an investment. It is not cheap, but it is well worth it, because you can put holes in everything that is thin. It can do it in balsa wood. It can do it in tin cans, as you'll see in the next DIY set and next series of DIY visit. It'll show you that I went through a tin can. Sorry guys, I have to get a drink of water. But it is a very, very useful piece of tools to be in your arsenal. So now I'm figuring out the series of the colors that I want to go down, and then just continue to put all the letters on them. Trying to match them up as even as I can, and of course going back over it with all the Mod Podge. And then there is all my sign all together. All I have to do is add the jute twine in and hang it up. And we'll have a picture of this shown at the end of this video. So I'll take you a couple of shots and let you see what's going on. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching this video.